Brodes Media.
Embiid sucked today. Embiid sucked today. Al Horford, who is horrendous, just looked like the best basketball player of all time. I was crying watching the third quarter and the threes rain down. I was pissed watching Horford on the defensive end. And now this is 2 games in a row where Embiid and Maxey had a tough time delivering in the fourth quarter. While the Boston Celtics got open looks and Derek White and Tatum were able to cash in, Embiid's turning the ball over in the corner, which then leads to an and one by Tatum. Maxey's getting rejected by a 93-year-old man, and then that results in a Derek White shot made. It's inexcusable what happened with those two tonight, specifically Joel Embiid. Was he even prepared to play? And there are no excuses. I will not say that the 3 games in 4 nights is okay. I will not say that he gets a free pass because it was a second half of a back-to-back. The Celtics were missing 2 of their starters in Brown and Porzingis. That completely washes out not having Oubre and Batum. This was very disappointing. Not many times so far this season do I feel blah after the game is over, but you really don't stand a chance when your best players on the floor is Robert Covington moving without the basketball and then getting some nice offensive boards, putback slams. Good for him. DeAnthony Melton was cooking, and we really do see the difference in when he's able to put a bunch of shots through the basket and for him to create that spacing. I thought after the Springer reverse jam, and I'm sure Furkan Korkmaz was crying on the bench thinking that could be me, because you know Furky loves himself some dunks. But man, after that Melton 3, after the Springer reverse jam, I thought the Sixers were going to run away with it because the building was so electric, but unfortunately they just weren't able to. And look, they were down 17, they fight back, they're up 1 at half, which I would have never thought in a billion years that would be the case. After I saw this lineup touch the floor, I wanted to vomit. Yo, Nick, we can never utilize Embiid with House, Morris, Pat Beverly, and Furkan Korkmaz ever again. Ever again. I never, ever want to see that lineup again. What a disaster that was. Anyway, the moral of the story is you won't win when Springer, Rocco, and Paul Reed end up being your most explosive and loudest weapons for you in a basketball game. I'm sorry, that will result in failure. Joel Embiid did not show up to play tonight, and he let his teammates down. I'm sorry, you need to do a better job, and you definitely can't let Al Horford steal your lunch money like that. He looked like a legitimate pro, and you were an AAU player, and he just kicked you down, and he didn't have any response to it, and it's extremely disappointing because I wanted to see 40 points, I wanted to see 17 rebounds, and I wanted to see them take a 2-0 series lead against this bum-ass team, especially when you could take advantage of them missing some bodies, even though you were too. When they're down Brown and Porzingis, you got to take that. You got to take it and run. And I thought it would have been such a big-time statement for you to handle business tonight in your own building. You didn't have travel with the back-to-back, so I'm not saying it's not difficult. It is difficult, especially because of the pace of play of the Indiana Pacers. Over 48 minutes, it wears you down. I thought that maybe knowing it's your biggest rival, there's something called adrenaline. And when you step into that building, knowing what everybody else is feeling, knowing what the fans are feeling, knowing how much those ticket costs, how it's an ESPN broadcast, it's a 7:30 tip, you're playing a team that you despise, that the fatigue level, while it's real, your adrenaline can do something about it. And then in the first quarter, they get outscored aggressively, and the Celtics score 37 points or so, and you run out that lineup I said at the end of the first quarter. It's a disgrace. It really is. I haven't felt this way much this season. I felt it a little bit after the Milwaukee game, but not as much because I despise everything Boston Celtics related way more than Milwaukee. All right? Seeing Horford and White and, oh, God. Oh, I hate them. I hate them. I guess I pissed off some Celtics fans because as soon as the game ended, I tweeted the only thing I know how to tweet after watching the Celtics play, and that's Al Horford sucks. What do you want me to tell you? Joshua Harris should have had this guy locked up in jail years ago for being a thief, for theft, okay? Fraud. He's a fraud, the biggest fraud. There's no way that he forgot how to play basketball for the one season he's wearing a Sixers jersey, goes back to Boston, becomes Mutombo at the rim protection, and all of this, right? I mean, it makes no sense. Cashing in all those threes, he's Steph Curry from behind the arc, but damn it, that guy couldn't hit a pick and pop to save his damn life when he was playing for the Sixers. Jail! He should be in jail! Jail time! Jail for life! I did not expect it to look this way. Even if Embiid went off and they did lose, I thought I can at least be a little more excited about the way they played and go to sleep at night knowing that they gave it everything they had. I don't think your best players gave it everything they had. And Maxey will learn through this, right? He's not just going to have the basketball and never make mistakes and never have a hard time. And you can tell he's starting to get frustrated. He's animated towards the refs. He gets teed up, but actually the ref is stupid for deciding to do that. And maybe if he did his job and realized there was a foul that wasn't called and he actually called it, then the person isn't mad and isn't upset, and then none of that happened. But you could tell when he's driving to the lane and whether there were whistles blown or no whistles blown or if he got screwed or not, over the length of the game, you could tell he was getting bothered and flustered and he was putting his hands up and he was making faces. That's going to happen, and he'll need these type of experiences to figure out exactly how it's going to work and figure out what he needs to do when he realizes through the first quarter, hey, this is going to be similar to that night when we were in South Philly playing up against Boston, so I need to do X, Y, and Z to get myself established. Or I have a plan B when I realize plan A isn't working and I'm driving and I'm trying to create the traffic and I'm willing to take on the bodies and there's 2 or 3 guys going up with their hands up. I'll do crafty things to earn the foul calls. You got to go through these ups and downs to really figure it out, especially when you're now the guy. He hasn't been the guy like this. So I'm more willing to give him a leash than Embiid.